Alright, Shalom. First of all, I just want to start this out off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are firmly pushing the word in sincerity and in faith, and Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on this Russian earthquake that has caused a parade of volcanic eruptions. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says the massive magnitude 8.8 earthquake that struck off Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula last week has triggered the activity of 7 volcanoes in the area, according to the Institute of Volcanology and Seismology of the Far Eastern Branch of the Russian Academy of Sciences. The RAS said this is the first time in almost 300 years that 7 volcanoes erupted at once in the region. The director of the institute, Alexei Ozerov, described the situation as an extremely rare phenomenon that can be described as a parade of volcanic eruptions. The magnitude 8.8 earthquake that struck late on July 29th caused several aftershocks, including a magnitude 6 aftershock in the Pacific Ocean near Kamchatka at 6 a.m. local time Tuesday morning. According to the Kamchatka branch of the Unified Geophysical Service of the Russian Academy of Sciences. Among those erupting is the Clive volcano, which the Kamchatka Volcanic Eruption Response Team reported to be spewing ash on Tuesday. The earthquake has now caused the southern part of the Kamchatka Peninsula to shift southeastward, according to the local branch of the Russian Academy of Sciences Unified Geophysical Service. Jeez, these titles, man. The Kamchatka branch of the Federal Research Center, United Geophysical Service of the Russian Academy of Sciences, have calculated the surface of the Earth shifted to the southeast, with the greatest shift occurring in the south of the peninsula, reaching almost 2 meters. The greatest shift occurred in the south of the peninsula, a movement that is comparable to the horizontal displacement that resulted from the 2011 earthquake in Japan. Seismologists acknowledge the peninsula has shifted somewhat more modestly, although they do not specify the exact amount. The eruptions follow the volcanic activity of the Krashenikov volcano, which saw lava flow in the last week for the first time in nearly 600 years. Local officials said the last lava flow was recorded in 1463. A Russian seismologist told local media that there is a direct connection between last week's powerful earthquake and increased volcanic activity in Kamchatka. So we attribute the eruptions to the earthquake, which activated the magmatic foci and provided them with additional energy. Alexei Ozerov, a corresponding member of the Russian Academy of Sciences and director of the Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, told TASS, a state-affiliated media in Russia. The Krashenikov volcano was located less than 150 miles away from the epicenter of the earthquake that struck off the east coast of the Russian peninsula on July 29th. The intense quake was one of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded and the world's largest since 2011. It spurred tsunami warnings from Japan to Hawaii and the west coast of the United States. Yeah, and I remember that because a lot of people were live streaming who lived in Hawaii and they were worried about, the tsunami, or worried about a tsunami that could have hit because of how severe that earthquake was. It says volcanic activity is common for the Kamchatka Peninsula, which is home to 29 active volcanoes, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, with three of those currently erupting, previously laying dormant, according to the RAS. Massive eruptions began at 6 a.m. local time on Sunday, prompting the evacuation of personnel in the area, according to the Kronotsky Nature Reserve website. The Regional Ministry of Emergency Situations said there are no settlements along the ash plumes path of the whatever that is, and said there are no registered tourist groups in the volcano's vicinity. Yeah, but see, this is how you know this is yet another example that proves that we're living in the last days, because these earthquakes are getting more severe, you know, triggering volcanic eruptions and making everyone afraid of potential tsunamis. Like, things are definitely getting more perilous, more intense, more dangerous. 2 Timothy 3:1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And when you look up the definition of perilous, it means full of danger or risk. And every time you turn around, something intense is happening. Whether it's a tornado, a torrential rainstorm, that could result in flash flooding, whether it's a hurricane or a tropical storm or a volcano eruption, or some major earthquake that could result in a volcano eruption or a tsunami, whether it's these wildfires, whether it's these wars that are popping off, it's just always something happening. And that's how you know that we're living in the last days, because it's just non-stop. Isaiah 29:6, thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. And the Lord hit Russia with that 8.8 earthquake that, triggered tsunami warnings, and now has these volcanoes erupting. So when the men of the Lord say that there is no getting around these scriptures, situations like this are proof of that. Matthew 24:7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. And when you look up the definition of diverse, it means many or multiple. And there are earthquakes that are happening all over the world. Like, earthquakes are becoming a lot more active. There was a 2.7 that recently hit between Jersey and New York. LA gets hit with small earthquakes every now and again, and then other parts of the world as well. So there are definitely earthquakes happening in multiple places, just as the scriptures said that there would be. 2 Ezra 9:1, he answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass which I have told thee before. Verse 2, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Verse 3, therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which clearly there's plenty of both. There's plenty of earthquakes happening, and there are plenty of uproars of the people in the world in the form of protests because of everything that's taken place. Verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder, and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And the volcano eruptions, the tsunami warnings, the earthquakes, the wildfires, the tornadoes, hurricanes, tropical storms, torrential rainstorms, lightning storms, hailstorms, the continual power outages, the wars and rumors of wars, the love of many waxing cold. All of these things are the signs of the end, signs of the last days. And only those of us of the hopeful elect seem to be aware of what's going on. Proverbs 22:3, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. And through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, those of us of the hopeful elect, we are the prudent, we are the wise, and we are able to foresee the evil and hide ourselves under the hedge of protection of the Lord. Meanwhile, all these simple-minded people that are focused on a bunch of nonsense and folly they're just going to pass on and end up getting destroyed because they're not paying attention. They're not being circumspect. They're not watching. They're not taking any of it seriously. So when these judgments come upon them, they're not going to be prepared. And they're going to get hurt. They're going to get killed. They're going to suffer. There's going to be a lot of mourning and weeping and sadness and death. And that's basically the Lord's punishment upon these wicked people, regardless of where in the world they dwell. Luke 21:22 tells us, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. And we are without a doubt living in the days of vengeance. There's so much judgment, so much chaos, so much destruction and death going on. The Lord is clearly visiting this world and bringing sore judgments upon wicked people, men, women, and children. Because, like it says in Romans 2:11, there is no respect of persons with Yahweh. So those of us of the hopeful elect, we got to see these judgments. We got to continue to fear the Lord. We got to continue to rehearse the righteous acts and follow the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, and watch and read and, fast, and just stay as locked in as we can, because things are only going to get more turned up, more destructive and more deadly and more scary from here. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakudash, the Wadi Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are firmly pushing the word in sincerity and in faith, and shalom to all the sincere believers. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, shalom.